Welcome to this week's special Hambletonian Week edition of Morning Line, the USTA's weekly news magazine. I'm Paul Ramlow. My co-host Allison, Conte, and Hoofbeat's executive editor TJ Burkett have been in New Jersey all week and have plenty of information to share on Saturday's $1.2 million Hamiltonian.
Thanks, Paul. We're here at Gateway Farm, home of several of the Hambletonian contenders, but on Monday, we were at the Hamiltonian Draw press conference at Meadowlands Racetrack.
That's right, TJ. And on Monday, we saw some of the main contenders fared a lot better than some of the others.
Jimmy, your initial reaction to the draw?
Well, I wasn't happy, of course, to get the 10 post with Pinkman. He's my strongest contender, but, it's 2 heats and, he's in good form.
The draw was a little tough for you on Monday, 9 and 10 for Canepa and Pinkman. How have they been working this week?
Good. We had the final workout this morning here with them, and everything seems to be fine.
You think those 2 horses are the type of horses that can overcome those posts?
Well, yes, I do. I think they're good, capable horses to do it, but they got to do it the hard way, but that's horse racing.
While at Gateway this week, we got to stop down and talk with trainer Ron Burke about his superstar filly, Mission Brief, heading into the Hambletonian, and about one of the maybe sleepers in the field, Habitat.
No, she couldn't have been better. Truthfully, it's a relief. You just want them to be great their last time they go out, and she couldn't have been better.
She went by that pacer you trained her with, like he was standing still.
Yeah, and that's Say It All BB. That's a top-aged mare, and she can match strides with her. That's pretty good when you're matching strides with an aged pacing mare. But she was vicious. Could not have been any better.
A lot of stress going into this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit easier. The draw went good. Then she trained awesome. It just, it seems like everything's rolling in the right direction, so hopefully we can, just keep it going from here. That's as good as she gets. She's perfect. So, if something goes wrong from here, all we got to jog is one day on Friday. It's not real hard from here. It's easy. He has a shot. It's not like he hasn't beat these kind of horses before. So, obviously she's going to get more attention, but we're prepping him with, the same intentions to go out and try to win the race. He's just consistent. That's what I mean. The things maybe she's not good at, he's perfect at. He doesn't make mistakes. He's the same horse every week, so that probably helps him.
What would you have if you could combine them?
They'd be great. That's the thing is, but I'll take them both separate. I'm not complaining.
While the question of whether she goes into the Hambletonian or the Oaks has officially been answered, there still is the question as to her driver and the other issue of the trotting hobbles, which trainer Ron Burke says he's going with, even though he's sort of fighting himself on it.
Trotting hobbles are on. We're married for at least 1 week, and then we'll see. But I can't see them on in Lexington, but they'll be on here.
Conspicuously missing from the list of Hamiltonian drivers was John Campbell, who broke his wrist in a 2-year-old race earlier this week at the Meadowlands. We caught up with him at the press conference to get a status update on his condition.
Requires surgery for it, so that's a good thing. I'm not sure the time frame yet. I'll know more at the end of this week. I'm going back to see my doctor, but it'll be a couple, 3 weeks in at least, and I'm hoping that's the time frame.
The John Cashman Jr. Memorial Free-for-All Trot feels like a European race, going 1 1/8 miles with a 12-horse field. It also features Magic Tonight, recent winner of the Elite Lop in Sweden.
It's been since he came into your barn.
He came here happy and fresh, it looked like, and he qualified real well, I would say, off of a long layoff. He hadn't raced since the Elite Lop, so I would say he did very well.
It's a little more European. Do you think that works to his advantage?
I think so. Plus, he qualified with shoes, which he's accustomed to race barefoot now, which I think would probably help him a little bit extra. So, yeah, I think he's in good shape.
And it seems only appropriate since you're shoeing him. How are his feet?
His feet are great.
The favorite in that race is Market Share, who is no stranger to Hambletonian Day glory, having won the Trotting Classic in 2012.
And how do you feel about him with the added distance?
I don't think that'll bother him. I'm just happy to have my nose on the gate. I really hate these 12-horse fields, and I know the public may like them, but I think horses like their noses on the gate. So we are, and hopefully that'll get us involved a little bit, and I don't think the extra distance will make that much of a difference.
Wiggle It Jiggle It will race for the first time since winning the Meadowlands Pace on July 18th, when he faces 8 rivals in Saturday's $319,400 Cane Pace for 3-year-olds at Meadowlands Racetrack. The Cane Pace is the first jewel in the pacing Triple Crown, followed this year by the Messenger Stakes and Little Brown Jug. Wiggle It Jiggle It was not eligible to the Cane, but his connections paid $35,000 to supplement to the event, which is being held at the Big M for the first time in its 61-year history. Wiggle It Jiggle It, trained by Clyde Francis for owner George Teague Jr.'s stable, will start the cane from post number 2 and is the 2-5 morning line favorite. Montrell Teague will drive. The cane pace field also includes Dudes the Man, who won last Saturday's Delvin Miller Adios and finished second in the Meadowlands Pace, as well as Art Speak and In the Arsenal, who finished second and third respectively to Wiggle It Jiggle It in the Hemp Memorial and also competed in the Meadowlands Pace and North America Cup. Jessica Ocusco, who trains Dudes the Man for owners M&L of Delaware and Victoria Dickinson, has been enjoying the ride with this son of American Ideal.
So good going today. I knew Corey put him in the right spot, and Dude's got the speed, and he was awesome today.
Just seems like he's getting better and better as the year goes on.
He really does seem to be, he's peaking at the right time. As long as we keep him healthy and sound and don't screw him up, we should have a good year.
The $215,400 U.S. Pacing Championship for older pacers is also on the strong Hamiltonian Day undercard, and the field of 9 is led by Foiled Again, the sport's $7 million man. Foiled Again has won 84 races in his career, but has never captured the U.S. Pacing Championship in 5 attempts. His best finish in this race was a third behind Better Sweet and Alexei Matosi in 2011. He won't have an easy task of it this year either, as he will have to start from the outside post 9. Among his opponents will be 2014 North America Cup winner J.K. Endavanera, who scored in 149 in last week's TVG Open at the Meadowlands. In that race, he defeated Graduate Series champion Doo-Wop Hanover by a nose and Molson Pace victor State Treasurer by a neck. Both of those horses will also compete in Saturday's U.S. Pacing Championship.
How do you think he stacks up with those FFAers?
I thought this last start was really good. I mean, Brett, he said he kind of got him a little bit too relaxed on the backside, but, come back and win it anyway. I thought he was fantastic.
He's a really big, good-looking horse. What was your first impression when he came into your barn?
Well, he's huge. I mean, he have a special-made bike for his size, and now he's all power, I mean, but a very nice, friendly horse and great to work with, so I like him a lot.
Since we won't know who will compete in this week's Hamiltonian final until after Saturday's eliminations, I will instead take a look at the $301,500 John Cashman Memorial in this week's edition of Paul's Paddock Picks. This race for free-for-all trotters features a field of 12 at the distance of 1 1/8 miles and features the North American return of this year's Elite Lop winner, Magic Tonight. He has not raced since capturing that prestigious event on May 31st, but did finish third in a qualifying race on July 25th at the Meadowlands. How that layoff will affect him is the race's biggest question. Still, I'm going to pick Magic Tonight to win. He is riding a 4-race winning streak, and his regular driver, Orhan Kihlstrom, will be in the bike. Kihlstrom, you may recall, piloted Commander Crow to a stakes record triumph in last fall's Breeders' Crown for this class. For place, I'm going with Natural Herbie. Verlin Yoder's trotter won the Vincennes Invitational Trot on the Hamiltonian Day undercard last year in a career-best 151-4. 12 weeks later, Natural Herbie won the International Trot Preview Invitational at Yonkers Raceway, defeating a field that included Commander Crow. He comes into this race off a second-place finish by a nose to Flanagan Memory in the TVG Open last week at the Big M, and looks to be ready for another big performance. For show, I'm going with Market Share. The 2012 Hambletonian winner is the 3-1 favorite from post 6 in the Cashman. The 6-year-old, trained by Linda Toscano, has earned more than $3.7 million lifetime. So once again in the John Cashman Memorial, I am going with Magic Tonight to win, Natural Herbie to place, and Market Share to show. So let's go back out to New Jersey to Allison and TJ, and they'll close out this week's show at Gateway Farms.
Thanks, Paul. Lockdown Lindy's coming off of a pretty strong win in her Hambletonian Oaks elimination, and trainer Tony Alagna feels that his filly is reaching her full potential at just the right time.
You know, last year she showed that she could go with the best fillies. You know, she was parked the whole way, first over the Mission Brief and finished third. You know, that race took a lot out of her. She wasn't near as good toward the end of the season, but we did the right thing, put her away, and she's come back good this year. And she's had a lot of just trouble trips this year, and everything worked out. And I don't think the being out bothers her. You know, you just hate to do it to her every week.
You can keep up to date with all things Hambletonian by tracking the hashtag on Twitter, Hambo15, and checking out the mini site on the Harness Racing Fan Zone.
And on that mini site, you can follow my blog about our epic Hambo journey.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Morning Line, and stay tuned next week for a behind-the-scenes look at all the action from the 90th edition of the Hambletonian.